Hey ladies and gentlemen, Stephen here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really do hope that this video finds you well. And in today's episode, I'm going to be giving you a behind the scenes and personal look at a fragrance by the company Navitus Parfums, and this one is called Lautus. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance reviews, any sort of fragrance related content here on YouTube, please do consider subscribing to this channel by clicking on that button in the corner. This way, whenever I do upload future fragrance related content, it will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. And also please be sure to click on that notification bell. This way it will get sent straight to your phone. You'll get a push notification so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Now, of course, as a disclaimer, I am the creative director for Navitus Parfums, and this is a fragrance that I directly worked on. So this is not going to be a review by any means, but I do want to let you know what my experience has been like working with the perfumer, writing the brief, going through the several mods that were sent to me by the laboratory, how the fragrance was altered and tweaked from one stage to the other, and what the end result is that you have here in front of you, or I should say that I have here in front of me. And I'm really hoping that you have the opportunity to sample this fragrance as well. So this one is called Lautus, and the name means chic or elegant. And that is one of the reasons why I chose the word elegant to be one of the three adjectives that are associated with this fragrance. And I also find it to be distinguished and modern. So this is inevitably and unquestionably a lavender-based fragrance. And lavender is one of these ingredients that I do have quite a bit of experience with. I always had lavender essential oil for couple of decades now, ever since I was a kid. Not to suggest that I've been using it on a daily basis or anything like that, but I always had an affinity for the note of lavender. But depending on how it's used in certain fragrances, I could either fall in love with it or I can perhaps not like it so much. Of course, we have classics like Le Male by Jean Paul Gaultier, which has lavender but also mint and vanilla. I certainly wasn't going for anything like that when it comes to this fragrance, but I wanted a more modern, youthful, and contemporary, but also elegant and distinguished take on the note of lavender. And I really feel like that was accomplished by modernizing it, with that vanilla note that's used in the base, that vanilla absolute. So we're talking about a natural vanilla that is of really, really high quality, but there are also some touches and tweaks and additions that perfumer Bertrand DUCHAUFOUR threw in there, like this use of cascarilla, which is this spice that comes from the Antilles. And when I introduced the fragrance to Fragrantica, they actually had to add the note to their database because there's no other fragrance that they've used that actually contains that note, or no other fragrance that they've included in their database that actually contains that note. So I found that to be really unique. But I'm really excited to tell you more about the smell and how it changed from the first mod to the last, but I want to show you the presentation up close. So here you have the box for the fragrance. It just has the name of the company here on the front, Navitus Parfums. Of course, parfum being a nod to the French perfumery methods. You have the name of the fragrance in the middle here, and this is the 50 ml size, the only size in which this fragrance is currently available at the moment. And on the back of the box, you have this 2-paragraph blurb that I wrote up. Feel free to pause your screen if you'd like to read it. And all of your pertinent information is located on the bottom of the box. The box has this very sturdy construction to it. Nothing is going to happen to this box in transit. It opens up just like this to reveal a bed of silk in which the bottle rests very comfortably. The inside of the box also contains this card, which of course in typical Navitus fashion, it contains a very well-known Latin quote. In the case of this fragrance, it's esse quam videri, which means to be rather than to seem, because I really hope that when you put this fragrance on, it transforms your aura. You become this distinguished, modern, and elegant person that you always aspire to be. And that's exactly what the name means as well. Lautus translates to chic or elegant in Latin. And on the back of the card here, I do have a credit to the perfumer. I always believe that the perfumer should receive credit and acknowledgement for his or her creative efforts, and you have all of the notes listed on the back here. Here's the presentation for the bottle. It just has the name towards the top and the logo and the name of the company towards the bottom. Once again, there's a sticker on the bottom with all of your pertinent information. The cap for this fragrance does not click into place, but it is a snug fit. However, I wouldn't recommend picking this one up from the cap because it is a very heavy bottle. And of course, just like all other fragrances from this company, it has a pressurized atomizer. so you can control how much you want to spray. Very wide distribution. Let's continue with the smell. So the Lautus that I'm smelling here, which is the one, of course, that I'm going to be speaking about, and it's the one that is currently on the website and on the market, is a fragrance that I absolutely love. And of course, I'm biased. I'm just gonna come out with it. I'm gonna tell you I'm biased. This is a fragrance that I worked on, but I will be honest with you when I say that I had to go through several mods before finally landing on this one. I had to tweak the formula, was it 7 or 8 times, before I smelled this one and I said, this is the one that we're gonna go with. This is the concentration. This is the balance of ingredients that I am in favor of. And I would like for this to be the one that people are introduced to. And I'm telling you, I couldn't be happier with this. When having that communication with Bertrand, we also spoke about the possibility of having a higher quality lavender ingredient used in here. And there are a lot of natural ingredients in here as well, in addition to that vanilla absolute that I mentioned earlier on in the video. And another thing that I want to mention too, is if you are interested in seeing my interview with the perfumer when I visited Paris, France back in February, I'm going to leave a card up here, and I'm also going to leave a link down below so that you can go ahead and check out that video as well. But in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get that very bright and tart yuzu note. And one thing that I love about perfumer Bertrand DUCHAUFOUR is he has a way of incorporating or including these unconventional ingredients to create an overall smell that is just, all of these notes are working in harmony with one another, but it's an experience and something that you haven't smelled before. And I really do love the uniqueness of this fragrance. There are so many other lavender-based fragrances on the market that I've gotten my nose on. I know I mentioned Le Male as being one of them, but this really stands out among the rest in the sense that it's unique, not in the sense that it's better or anything like that, because I do find fragrances to be very subjective. It's all about what works on your skin and what resonates with you. But I love that bright yuzu, verbena, and neroli opening, and the citrus in here just smells so natural and so organic. And I think it's such an organic and effortless segue into that mid, where you're gonna get that lavender, you're gonna get that orris, you're gonna get these other, and freesia as well, these other floral ingredients that really tighten up the heart, and they provide a very smooth transition from the beginning to the base. Now, of course, in the base, you are gonna have rosewood, you're gonna have also a little bit of patchouli as well. I think the strongest ingredient you're going to smell in the base is that vanilla absolute. And I think that had it been too reliant on the vanilla and the patchouli, you would have gotten a fragrance that might smell a little bit too classic, right? A little bit too out of this time period. But because of that cascarilla that you get in there, because of that yuzu and verbena opening, but also because of that gorgeous vanilla absolute that's used in the base, you are going to get something modern, something unique, something that really stands out. And I personally love the way that this smells from the top to the heart to the base. So that lavender note, in my opinion, it doesn't ever fully subside. And it's something that we really toyed around with, because when the brief was initially pitched to the perfumer, I wanted something that had a very natural smelling lavender. I didn't want anything synthetic. I didn't want anything that almost gave an illusion to a designer fragrance. I wanted something where people can spray it on and they can say, wow, this is different. This is a showstopper. This is a head turner. This is a fragrance that'll really get me noticed. And there's also this dressed up feeling about it. And I think that that kind of goes back to my experience of smelling other lavender based fragrances on people when they were worn in formal occasions. And so I feel like there's something so polished about this, like a really refined, distinguished gentleman would wear this fragrance, and not necessarily because it creates this illusion to fragrances that were released in the 80s or the 90s. I don't think that that's it. I just think that the interplay of these ingredients and the specific ingredients used are ones that sort of give off that vibe and put people in that olfactory mindset. But I love this fragrance. If you are a fan of lavender-based fragrances, spring and summer is really where it's at for this fragrance. I do think it's the ideal time to wear it. I can actually see this one being pulled off in the fall as well, especially if you're wearing it in a climate-controlled environment. I would probably just say if you're looking for a fragrance to wear in the winter, I would reach for Absolutio, or I would reach for Arcanum, or several other heavier fragrances from the company Navitus Parfums. But for this fragrance, I feel so privileged privileged and so blessed to have had the opportunity to meet one of my favorite perfumers in person, to have had the chance to communicate and correspond with him. And I am so proud of this creation that I have in front of me here. Oh, and by the way, Bertrand DUCHAUFOUR has also created Sartorial by Penhaligon's, which was kind of the fragrance that opened up my eyes and made me think like, oh wow, he can use the note of lavender incredibly well. And this fragrance is a night and day difference from Sartorial, but I really just wanted to throw that out there. The perfumer has an incredible resume, everything from Incense Avignon by Comme des Garçons to Jubilation 25 by Amouage to Sartorial by Penhaligon's. He has made all the classics. So let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, in terms of the overall assessment, obviously I can't judge my own fragrance. Like I said, I am coming from a very biased standpoint because I worked on this and I had to get through 7, 8, or 9 mods until I was finally satisfied with the fragrance and felt comfortable releasing it to you guys. But in terms of the overall smell, I love it. And coming from a very personal standpoint, I love the way that this fragrance smells. I love the lavender that's used in here. Nothing about it smells dated or otherworldly, or it doesn't give me like an old world feel. It smells very modern, very contemporary, but very elegant as well. And it's also the type of fragrance that the few times that I have worn it, you know, because of the quarantine, I'm sure you can imagine, the few times that I have worn it in public and people have smelled it on me, people were always curious to know what I'm wearing. In terms of the longevity on this one, you're gonna get 8+ hours, and that is a testament to the strength. It is concentrated at 25% concentration of aromatic compounds. So you are gonna get something that kind of falls in extrait de parfum territory, but we just chose to put parfum on the front of the box, but you're gonna have a very strongly concentrated fragrance. In terms of the projection, it is going to radiate beyond an arm's length, and that is even with 3 or 4 sprays. You will get noticed with this one. It doesn't become a skin scent until about that 6.5 to 7 hour mark, but please do bear in mind, it all depends on your skin condition. Do you have dry skin? Do you have oily skin? But you are going to get incredible performance from this fragrance. Also, the versatility on this one is great. I would say you can wear this spring, summer, fall. I would probably just save the winter for a different fragrance from the company Navitus Parfums. I think that there are a lot of other better choices that you can wear when it's really, really cold outside. I think this one is perfectly unisex. I think the citrus, the vanilla, and some of these other ingredients in there would make it a unisex or a shared fragrance. I think anybody of any age can wear this one. Like I said, this is a sort of modernized contemporary take on this type of a chypre, almost barbershop genre, if you will. And this is a discussion that I had with the perfumer Bertrand as well. He considers this to be a chypre. And in terms of the presentation, I absolutely love it. Just coming from that standpoint where I do have synesthesia, I chose the color green for this bottle because that's a sort of olfactory hue that it paints, and I love everything about it. I really hope you have the chance to try it out. Again, I'm not saying that, you know, you should go out there and rush to buy this because I made it, but if you would like to support what I do, if you would like to support this channel, please do consider at the very least getting a sample of this fragrance, especially if you are a fan of lavender, patchouli type of fragrances, but you want a sort of classic yet modernized version of it. I have a very strong feeling that you will love this one. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Once again, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, please do consider subscribing to this channel to support it by clicking on that red button in the corner. So when I do upload future fragrance related content, it'll get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. And also please remember to click on that notification bell so that you'll get a push notification sent straight to your phone or whatever device you're using so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.